Thank you. Centre Parcs is a family holiday park with many different activities, all situated in a beautiful forest. There are no cars, no motorbikes and no loud noises, just you and whoever you've gone with in a cosy lodge. I was lucky enough to get some rolls of film for my birthday. I got some Kodak Gold 200, Portrait 800 and Cinestill 800T. I was really torn on which film stock to use, as I really wasn't too sure what I was going to be doing, but I knew that I wanted a higher ISO, so really it was between the Portrait 800 and the Cinestill 800T. And even with that I was still a little bit torn, so after a little bit of research I looked at the colour palettes of both film stocks and I thought I'll bite the bullet, go for some Cinestill 800T, and that was my final decision, as I didn't want to shoot too much because I didn't really want to use both rolls of film, as I wanted one for whenever I shoot again. So I really liked the colour palette of the Cinestill 800T, I really liked the halation that it produced, and I was really nervous when I was loading the film up, as I've never used this film stock before, so I was really excited and really nervous as how some of the shots would turn out. First day that we arrived, you can't actually get into your lodge until 4 PM. We arrived at around 12:30. Luckily you can do quite a lot of activities and you can actually enter in loads of different things before you go into the lodge, so we decided to do a little bit of bowling. It's actually where I fired off my first few shots of the day and of the week really, and I'm actually quite pleased with how these turned out. Myself and my sister, we walked down to where our lodge was. It's a good 20-minute, half an hour walk from where the bowling alley was, but it's a really, really nice walk. You get to become familiar with your surroundings, and we were in the same lodge as what we were in last time, so we knew really where we were going. But as I said, we can't get in till 4 o'clock, and we turned up at 3 PM. So we were sat outside and we went around into the little garden section, and there were some ducks in the little lake behind, and God, this place is beautiful. So day 2 plans, and starting the day going to the Pancake House, and we went in for around 10:30, so it was perfect for a morning breakfast. They do sweet and savoury options, and I went for the savoury, and some of my friends have picked on me for this, but the food was just phenomenal. I got some shots on the way, which I'm hoping I've already shown, and then I got some shots whilst I was sat down before and after eating my food. Pancake House itself is quite cosy, it's quite warm, there's lots of lampshades, there's lots of lights, and you're right next to loads of trees, so I wanted to capture both sort of settings really. The shots inside are actually my favourite ones. I had a seat where I could see through to where the chef was making the pancakes, and I wanted to capture this. Once I'd captured that, I looked around the setting and I saw all the lampshades and how I could maybe meter them and expose them in this sort of setting, and that was a little bit of a task, but I think I got it done quite nicely. I'm not sure if I've mentioned already, but I've got my trusty Minolta with me. I have brought my Yashica with me as well. I think that's how you say it, and I think it's the MG1. But it's already got preloaded film in there from, I'm assuming 2017, because that's when I was given it, and I just haven't used it. So fingers crossed my Minolta doesn't die, because I have no clue what film's in the Yashica. I think it's 400 TX. I'm not quite sure, so it's black and white film. So fingers crossed it works, and hopefully the Minolta doesn't die. There is a sports bar that's down at Centre Parcs, and I didn't really get too many shots of me or my family being down here because it's very busy and there's so much going on. You don't really want to get into people's way because it's not just a bar, there's a whole activity section as well as. But we spent a lot of time down there and it's great fun. There was a family quiz night, there's lots of pool being played, badminton, even glow-in-the-dark table tennis. It is a great atmosphere to be in amongst. Even though I didn't get many video shots down at the sports bar, I did want to get one shot that kind of encompassed the feeling of the place. And I think this shot does it really well. Following this, as I said that we played a lot of pool and we watched a lot of darts and football, I wanted to get a shot of the pool tables, and the only way I felt best to do this was to slow down my shutter speed. I didn't want a really sharp, clean shot of the balls moving around because I don't feel like it encompasses the kind of chaos that the setting has or even playing pool has. So I showed this shutter speed down to, I think it was 1/30th, 1/10th, I can't quite remember, something around there. And I tried my best to focus on a certain point, and I'm really happy with how this shot came out. I don't really do much slow shutter speed stuff with film, and I think this turned out brilliantly. So this evening wasn't actually the only nighttime walk that we went on. We went on one the previous night, but I didn't really get much footage to warrant it being split into two parts, so I thought I'd just merge it into this one.
Have you posted your letter to Santa yet?
I'm actually really quite happy with some of these images that I got from this area, and just in general the nighttime work, because I'm really not sure how to photograph in the nighttime. I try my best, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and this time around I feel like I did okay. I don't feel like it went too bad at all. For the first nighttime walk, this is where I got my shot of the phone box, and I took 3 images because I had to keep the camera very still. I shot at 1/40th of a second and I didn't have a tripod on me at the time, so I thought I'd take 3 shots. It's warranted to get 3 shots just in case one turns out really well, and one in fact did turn out really well. I'm really happy with how this image came out. They also have this almost winter wonderland-esque area, and I shot 1 image down there on the first night, and I also did it again on the second night. On the first night, as well as the second night, I photographed where the well was, and they had like this massive canopy of lights coming over, and I saw on the sign it said wishing well, and I thought, oh, that's quite nice. And then I saw it got quite busy, so I waited for someone to walk into the scene. I didn't know who it was going to be. I had composed it so that the wishing well was in focus, and lo and behold, somebody with a Santa hat walked across, and I'm really happy with this. I'm happy with the image without the person, and I'm happy with the image with the person. So it's a win-win really. I'm pretty sure I've shown a clip of this, but they have this almost winter wonderland walk, I think they called it. What was it? The Enchanted Forest is what it was called, that was it. And I am not overly keen on the image I got from here, but I gave it a go, and yeah, it's okay. It might be a bit of a filler image, but it's nothing stand out to me. And then finally, as I've mentioned a couple of times that we've been to the sports bar, outside of the sports bar there is this mini golf area, outdoor stuff. It's tiny, it's for the kids, but I wanted to get a photograph of it, obviously without the kids in there, and shoot it at night time really. I wanted to see how the halation from the Cinestill 800T would hold up, and how I could compose it, because it was really dark outside, the area was really bright, and metering this was going to be a bit of a challenge. I shot it in portrait and I have now edited it to landscape, but I am really happy how it came out. The portrait shot was okay. There was too much, because I shot with a 50mm, there was too much space at the top and too much space at the bottom. I wanted the mini golf to be like the full front of the image and not to be kind of just there. So I'm really happy with the edit as well, and I'm really happy with the image in general. On the final day, I'd realised that I had got quite a lot of nighttime work. I hadn't got too much day-to-day life outdoor work. So I went for a walk in the morning, as I mentioned, down this massive slope, and I got quite a few images that I'm actually really quite happy with. I shot an image that I had shot previously on my original Fuji X100, just to kind of see how the difference would be. The image for this one is much less saturated, but I haven't edited it as much. And I think it's actually really nice. I like the colour contrast. I like that the contrast is quite light between a lot of the areas. I think I overexposed it a little bit, but I got it developed in a shop and scanned in a shop, so I can't really work with that too much until I have my own scanning setup really. But I still really like it. I like the glow from the sand. It's actually really quite nice. This is another one that I shot in both portrait and landscape, because I wanted to see whether the landscape or the portrait would work out better. In my opinion, I like the landscape more, but I'll leave that up to you. And then as the walk continued, we walked around the lake, and on the other side they have like this boathouse kind of thing for activities to go on the, I can't think what it's called. The pedlos. And I wanted to get a photograph. So I walked around to the other side, waited for some sunlight to come through, and as I shot the shot, the sunlight disappeared. Luckily, the metering for the image and all the settings I had was more than fine, so it held up really well. I've cropped in a little bit to get rid of some of the foliage in the foreground, because it was quite heavy on that bottom right corner, but I think it turned out really, really nice. Believe it or not, the final shot of the roll was this toilet shot, and if any of you have come to this channel, you'll probably know the name Grenney Days. I enjoy his content quite a lot, and I thought what best to finish off the roll than with a toilet shot. So out of the 36 shots taken, I really like, I think about 23 of them, and I think that's a very good ratio personally. I will be posting a lot of these on my Instagram at Grenney Creates if you're interested in seeing them again, or you can just rewatch the video and that'll also be great. Some of these shots I would consider portfolio worthy, mainly the ones that are in the Pancake House, and I do really like the fire shot as well. I don't know what it is, I feel like it's very atmospheric and something that I feel like I'm missing a little bit in my portfolio, so those would definitely be added. So what are my final thoughts on the Cinestill 800T? I absolutely love it, and it's definitely a film stock that I will use again. I love the colour palette and the halation, which is really why you would buy the film stock, and now I am caught in this Cinestill 800T trap where I absolutely love it, but it's a little bit expensive. Considering I usually shoot with Kodak Gold 200, in the summertime that is anyway, it's quite expensive compared, but I'm sure I could shop around and find it cheaper, but it's definitely worth the price if you're thinking about trying it out. And if you want to grade your footage like me, use code Grenney at the Dehancer website with all capitals to save yourself 10%. Follow me on Instagram at Grenney Creates, and most of all, click that subscribe button down below. We're so close to 500 subscribers right now, which feels unreal to say, but any support on any of the channels or any form of content that I've just mentioned would be greatly appreciated.